Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to HitScan. This week Blizzard and Jeff Kaplan are going to announce a new system that's going to help with the future of Overwatch. But I'm pretty sure that we already know what that is, or at least one of the systems in place. It could be more, it could be just this, but Blizzard clearly have a system in place to patch the game a lot faster. And I don't think people have really appreciated over the past couple of weeks how fast these patches have been, or even how frequent they can be in the future. To begin with, we really need to quote what Jeff Kaplan actually said about these systems in place to make sure that we're not going too far in the wrong direction. The problem we are trying to solve is that the meta needs to change more. We do have a solution in mind, an actual system that we'll talk about next week, but it's not hero bans. In regards to players wanting to ban for balance reasons, the way we plan to address this is with more frequent balance updates. The upcoming dev update will go into depth into the plan and shed some light on how we're going to accomplish this. So we agree that there are balance issues, we agree balancing needs to happen more frequently. Blizzard agreed that they had the same problem as the community, just the solution about hero bans was the wrong way to go about it. But you really only have to look at the last couple of weeks to really see what Blizzard is planning to do. For example, one area that I feel was really overlooked is that the PTR patch with the Diva Booster changes was only on the PTR for 1 week total. Usually PTR patches are up for a couple of weeks, maybe 3, maybe even going as far as being on the PTR for a month in some cases. 1 week is the quickest PTR patch that we've ever seen, so that already says quite a lot. One of the biggest issues as to why a patch is on the PTR for so long is that these changes have to go through console testing for Xbox and PlayStation. Clearly that's not the case at the moment. So this new system might be just an internal thing for Blizzard in order to patch the game much faster from PTR to live, but also patch a lot more frequently. In the last 3 weeks, we've had 2 PTR patches, with fairly aggressive changes on them too, not just small minor stuff. To show how different it is, I looked at all of the patches from 2019 and worked out the days in between each of them. You're seeing it on screen. I did want to mention that some patches have multiple PTR updates, but these were only specifically around big patches that included Baptiste and Sigma, Rollock, and it was mostly just full of bug fixes or band-aid reverts to new changes, stuff like Sigma and Baptiste when they were a bit too strong. It's very different from the patches that I'm about to talk about. But as you see, and I'm not going to read them all out, it's roughly about a patch a month. It was for Overwatch, and as you can see, there is an element of schedule and semblance to them. They're not completely random, but they definitely weren't frequent enough. Not every patch that's on screen had massive game-changing buffs and nerfs in them. So patching once enough just wasn't enough for Overwatch. I mean, just look at the schedule for January already. Of course, the first week of January, nothing happened because it was the start of the new year. On the 9th, we got a new patch on the PTR. On the 16th, like I said, it hit live. On the 23rd, we got another patch on the PTR. So I absolutely would not be surprised to see the McCree buffs and the Baptiste nerfs that are on the PTR currently hit the live servers on Thursday with this dev announcement. We may even see a case that the week after that, we get another PTR patch and it continues. It could even be as aggressive patching as that. It lines up exactly with what Jeff Kaplan said in the past, but also what Emong has said. I think a lot of people have the wrong idea that this is some new feature like a tournament system added into the game, but nobody strictly says that it's a new feature that's coming into the game, just a new system. I'm not going to play the Emong clips, but I want to quote some of the stuff that he said. He says that I think things will improve with Overwatch going forward. They're getting an idea of what they should do. Hoping in a couple of weeks that we hear more. What could this game use to be more exciting? Something coming in the next week or so. All of the stuff that Emong and Jeff have said really correlate to the idea that this game is going to be patched more aggressively. I don't necessarily know if there's going to be a PTR patch every 2 weeks because that seems a bit excessive, but if Blizzard do commit to a system like that, it's completely understandable why like pro players and XQC look at these changes and go, yeah, this is really big for the game. Because the biggest complaint the community have with Overwatch as a whole is the meta being stale for so long. Regardless of whether you are the top 1% of players or whether you're in bronze, that is a complaint that everybody has, and one thing that everybody can agree on. So if Blizzard target that, they cater to everybody, which is very difficult for them to do, to be fair. But there's another clever reason as to why this is the case. One of the reasons why big patches were few and far between, for Overwatch at least, was the problems with the Overwatch League. They wanted to make sure that the game that we were playing synchronizes with what the pros are playing too. And that's been quite difficult for them to achieve in the past couple of years. But Blizzard, again, already showing us a brand new system that they've put into place that shows that this is the direction that they're going. Let's look at some of the older PTR patch notes from 2019. We have patch 1.40, which was August the 22nd, had various changes on it. In September, we had patch 1.41, October 1.42. Then in November, we had patch 1.43 with the while you wait system. But then look at the past 3 patches that we've had. That includes the patch Party Flex system, which came in on December 11th, the patch with the D.Va booster buff that came on January the 9th, and then the recent patch with the McCree buff and the Sigma nerfs. But notice how they're all patch 1.44, and this is the patch that the Overwatch League will be playing on. Think of it like this: Blizzard had these really clunky patches, they put them in a package and sent them to the Overwatch League. They were these big burly boxes, but sometimes there wasn't a lot in them. Whereas now, they have 3 different patches that have come at different times with multiple changes on them, put them all in a box, tied it nicely with a bow, and then delivered that to the Overwatch League. So instead of each PTR patch being treated as a separate entity for the Overwatch League to sync up with, Blizzard can now neatly bundle up multiple PTR patches into one entity for the Overwatch League to then play, making it far easier for Blizzard to sync up with the Overwatch League, because if they're going to be patching, say, every 2 weeks, the Overwatch League can easily follow along with that too. It's not like a random PTR patch coming out of nowhere, right? So if there's more of a system in place to have frequent updates with a schedule everybody can keep up with, it's better for everyone. To take a quick tangent, this is something that Chris Wilson, who is one of the main people that do Path of Exile, spoke about when it came to their content updates. This was their old patching system, and you can see that there's multiple patches at random times. It was very difficult for the audience to keep up with exactly when new stuff was coming for Path of Exile. Very similar to the randomness of PTR patches for Overwatch, right? This is the new version that they have. Every 13 weeks there's a small and big alternating patch, so you know exactly when those patches are coming. With Blizzard's new system, this could be what they're doing every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks there's a PTR patch, and in between those 2 weeks, that PTR patch hits live, meaning that we get a new live patch every 2 weeks too. It makes it super easy for people to keep up with what's going on with the game. The meta is constantly shifting because the game is constantly being patched. Blizzard can quickly change and revert some of the changes that may be too strong, for example. Keeps people interested in what's going on, and the Overwatch League can keep up with what's going on exactly too. But it also does give Blizzard a lot of control over the meta, as Crow recently highlighted in a video that we did with him last week.
And like whenever you have turbulent waters where it's, muddy water, take a glass of it and set it down. The turbulent waters will settle, the dirt will go to the bottom and everything becomes clear again. That's kind of like meta. It doesn't matter how much you change it. It doesn't matter if they did wide balancing changes, like crazy changes right now. It would still settle down eventually, like you said. If the goal is to have 3 metas to be optional, let's say we want dive to be optional, Orisa Sigma with double shield to be possible, and then, I don't know, let's say double sniper is possible as well. The way to get all of these things to be equal is to be, this fine-grained type of balance. You kind of have to patch often because you got to make a lot of changes. You kind of got to not shake things up, but you have to figure out, what makes the game balanced. Where can you change things? They also have to gauge how the community has to respond to certain changes, stuff like that. I think they need to patch more often, and something little like this more often is, I think it's a good way to go. We'll see what they do going forward.
If Blizzard do drastic changes, basically, then the meta goes all over the place and sets in another way that people really hate. But if Blizzard do smaller, more frequent changes, they could just nitpick and change elements of what they don't like about the game, but they can keep up a proactive approach with these heroes instead of nerfing them and just leaving them like that for a while until people complain too much. Like I said at the start of the video, there could be more systems in place that Blizzard could announce, but I'm pretty sure that this is the direction that they are heading, just from what we've seen already. I can definitely see that this being announced and people maybe thought that it was something major, like a new feature into the game. Like I said, it could very much still be that, but we really shouldn't discredit or just forget about what Blizzard is doing currently, because what they're doing with more frequent patches, more communication, more updates is exactly what Blizzard needs to do right now for Overwatch, especially if Overwatch 2 is coming out this year. A better system for patching a game would be huge, and certainly one of the main systems that they're going to talk about on Thursday, no doubt. Whether it's this or something else, that's definitely the direction they're going. Thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you next time.